Hello everybody, and welcome to another Fun in 5. Today I'm doing a Tabletop Simulator preview of Mantle of the Keeper. This is by Strongbox Games, designed by Zach Rovang, Ben Levy, and Eric Smith. And three of them are putting this together as their very first Kickstarter. I believe it launches on July 12th, so not too long from the time of this video going live. So I thought I would share it with you. I'm going to zoom out of here. Actually, maybe I'll just move this rulebook out of the way that I planted for no particular reason. And we'll get into it. What do I like about Mantle of the Keeper? First, I'll let you know that I have played a full game session of this with the game designers themselves. So I was able to learn from them how the game works and some of the intricacies of it. So that was fun. I was defeated. I think I was Gray the Nomad, and I was defeated by Omen the Dark Mage. And there was another character that's not shown here, an artificer or alchemist dwarf kind of guy. I believe they're still testing out his abilities. But either way, I'm going on a tangent, and I want to talk to you about 5 things I like about this game, Mantle of the Keeper. So just based on the Tabletop Simulator playtest and visuals that I've done. So the first thing is this is a quick strategic skirmish game, but it's for up to 6 players, and that is interesting to me because most skirmish games usually take a little bit longer than that, both for setup and for play itself. But this is on a very small graph. You can see there's 4 boards and they flip over and rotate, so you can have a variable board setup. And there is a line of sight mechanic, so having trees in the way or rocks in the way may cause problems. But this strategic game does include everything you might expect in a skirmish. It involves movement rules, involves line of sight, it involves combat and ranged and close quarter attack. So I like all of that kind of pushed together in a tight, compact game, but playing up to 6 players still makes it accessible to many game groups. So that's the first thing. Second thing I like is there are asymmetric characters. I'm always a sucker for asymmetry in games if it's balanced well. And from what I saw in the gameplay session, I think they've worked hard at trying to balance out these different characters. And you'll notice on each of these characters they have stats, a play style, a player tip, and a backstory. And then on the reverse side is the actual play side of the board. So there's the kind of backstory and hints, and then the actual play board. And these characters each have initial unlocked ability and then 2 unlockable abilities that you get by earning favor in the game or gaining favor and expending it in the game. You can get special effects that sometimes are end of turn, sometimes they're one-time effects. But no matter what, they're always going to make your gameplay a little bit better for that particular character. But they're all asymmetric, so that's good to be aware of. They also have asymmetric speed and actions or combat kind of tethered into them. So I like that in a game when you can have that if it's balanced out well. And those different abilities, play styles, and player tips are useful, especially for first-time players. You know, if I'm playing Shem the Ranger for the first time, it might be good to know what the general play style of that character is. The third thing that I like is tethered into their asymmetry, but each player has a unique deck of 20 cards. And those 20 cards have unique art tailored to that particular character in different angles and poses. I don't know if they have it fully fleshed out yet, but what they do have does look pretty nice. If you look at some of that artwork, it's kind of got a vector kind of style graphic to it, but it's all done, it looks like, by the same artist. And so in these asymmetrical cards, they have unique ability cards, but they also have a lot of cards that have 2 different options, whether you want to use it as a combat card using the powers on the left side of the card, or if you want to use it for the mechanics that's built into the card. And so those asymmetric decks, each player has their own cards. Some of them have more combat-oriented powers than others. Some of them have more ability-centric. Some let you draw more cards. Some let you do other sneaky tactics like the alchemist experienced. But regardless, those 4 different decks right now, and it'll be up to 6 different decks by the time the game is published, so that you can play 6 players. Adds a lot of interesting thought to the game when you're playing it with multiple players. And replayability as well. I mean, having asymmetric characters means You could play the game 6 times and not play the same character. And you might want to play the same character multiple times to really figure out how best to play them. So that is number 3. Number 4, I like the favor mechanic as a resource. So each player in the game will be gaining favor. I believe there's a bag of tracking cubes here. So what you would do is in the game you start with a certain amount of favor, and then throughout the game you're going to accrue more favor, so your cube goes up the track. And in order to use cards, they have a expenditure. So in this case 4, I'd have to spend 4 favor to use that particular card, and when I play that card I get the ability. Or I might expend favor for additional movement, or I might exchange favor for improving my defense, or I might exchange favor for cards, because cards are you only get a certain amount in the game, and getting more can be advantageous. So use the favor for multiple things in the game, and trying to decide when is the right time to use it to unlock an ability, or to play a card, or to draw a card, or to defend myself. That's a decision-making point that you have to make multiple times in the game, and really will influence whether you win or lose, or whether it's in a single combat or the whole game. So I like that favor mechanic. It's tethered into every player, into every card play, into every movement. You really need to think about things and what kind of influence the favor you have is going to do in the game. And then finally, the 5th thing I like is that it has a simple but strategic combat mechanic. So the base level combat mechanic is that each player plays a card, and if a player has a higher strength, then the opponents play defense. So for example, if I play the Nomad, the attack power is 6. The defense power only matters if you're defending. If the defending player plays a 5, then the difference between those two is the damage dealt to the lower number. So in this case, the Nomad would deal 1 damage to the Ranger because they have a 6 against the Ranger's 5. Unless they have other powers that gives them more strength. They might have special powers on their card, or they might have played a card earlier in the round that gave them a perk. But the base level combat is very, very simple. You each play a card, highest card wins. Ties happen if you both have the same number. And there's always a perk if the defender happens to win, they get a little advantage. But yeah, it's just kind of neat how that works out. You don't have to worry about rolling dice. The strategy lies in whether you decide to use a card for its power or for its ability sometimes. And yeah, there you have it. 5 things that I like about Mantle of the Keeper, a 2 to 6 player skirmish game by Strongbox Games. It'll be live on Kickstarter on July 12th, so if I can, I'll put the link in the comments. And if you had a chance to play test it, or you got a chance to check out the Kickstarter and liked it, definitely let me know in the comments. I'm sure the creators would love it as well. As always, thanks for watching our Fun in 5 series, and have a wonderful day.